Hello and welcome to the Crazy Confidence Coach podcast. I'm so glad you're here and tuning in. Today we're talking about 3 things that you can do to guarantee that you have better communication skills, and ultimately this helps you improve your relationships. Have you ever felt held back by self-doubt, whether it's speaking up in a meeting or connecting with others or simply just believing in your own worth? Well, you're not alone. Welcome to the Crazy Confidence Coach podcast. I'm Heather Edwards, Master Certified Life Coach, and my goal is to empower you to step into your most authentic, confident self. Here, you're going to discover practical strategies and powerful insights to help you improve your communication, deepen those relationships, and elevate your self-esteem. And each week, I'm going to guide you through some actionable tips and mindset shifts that are specifically designed to help you break free from fear, show up boldly in every area of your life, and build crazy confidence. Are you ready to stop hiding in the shadows, playing small, and avoiding the spotlight? Grab your favorite pen and a notebook, and let's get to it. Several months back, I was at a dinner having a glass of wine with a few women, and we were having a conversation that I was super excited about and very much interested in. When I get excited and I enjoy a topic, I can be very, very animated, and my brain will flood me with ideas and thoughts that I want to share, like many of us when we are in a conversation that we know a little bit about or that we have information that we want to share. It was, in my mind, this wonderful conversation, lots of feel-good things and lots of learning happening between the group of us. During the conversation, somehow we got to the point we start joking around about starting a new podcast around the topic and how much knowledge combined we could share on that podcast. Then one of the girls shared with me, slightly joking, but clearly not, a comment that made my heart drop into my stomach. She jokingly said, "No way anyone would enjoy it because I talk too much and you interrupt a ton." I felt that statement in my bones, and she literally called me out for interrupting her and probably others in the conversation, and I can't say she was wrong. When I get animated and I have a ton of knowledge to share or that I want to share, I get kind of like a little 3-year-old or 5-year-old. And sometimes I do things in a way that is probably interrupting. And I felt awful for that when she called me out on that. So I felt awful for days. I felt very called out, and I felt a very weird feeling inside of me until I realized how wonderful this was, that she shared her thoughts and that she called me out. It gives me the opportunity to change if I want to, and it helps me to constructively see how other people are seeing me when I communicate, and especially if I'm very much into the topic and I have a choice to make. I can decide, do I want to be seen this way as someone who interrupts, or do I want to make a change and be seen in a different way? So my answer, do I want to be seen that way? Nope, nada, and no way. But the reality is I do it sometimes, and I am much more aware of it now. My ability and my desire to change it will absolutely help me become a better communicator overall. Is there something you do when you communicate that you don't love? Is there a way that you go about communicating with other people at work, at home, or just in general that you can recognize that you want to be better at that part of it? Well, I have great news. How you communicate is not who you are. It's simply a behavior, and a behavior can be changed and improved. So this whole chat today is going to be about how do we improve? What are the steps that you can take? What are some things that you can do to guarantee that you have better communication skills, and how does that improve your relationships? Communication is the cornerstone of every single thing that you do in your life. So it stands to reason that being a great communicator can exponentially impact your outcomes and your relationships. How people perceive you and how they interact with you is super important. By improving your communication skills, you become more skilled at building relationships, feeling more connected with others, and you can create tangible results in your life at an easier pace, or at least with less strife or confusion. So let's break down some things that I think you can use to improve your communication skills. First and foremost, slow down. This could be the most important thing that you can do. Once something comes out of your mouth or you share your thoughts, it's really hard to take that back. Here's the truth. You can never take it back. Think about all the movies that you've seen when an attorney asks a witness a question or makes a statement and the judge requires it to be stricken from the record. Why does an attorney do this when they know that they can't say something or ask a question or push a witness? Well, they know that it is impossible for a jury to forget what is said, even if they're told to forget it. So if you say something or you communicate something to someone that you haven't really thought through, you cannot take it back. It's already come out. So the person, even if you tell them, I'm sorry, or you tell them, oh, that's really not what I wanted to say, there's always a little bit of fuzziness or confusion there because that other thing is out there. Do your best to slow down. You don't have to respond right away. And when I say slow down and don't respond right away, I don't mean like hours later, minutes later. It can be 3 to 5 seconds to process what you need to answer with in a conversation. That time that you take is worth $1 million. So keep that in mind. Number 1, slow down. Number 2, put the phone down. Concentrate. Be there. 100% be participating in the communication. When I say this, I mean turn your TV off, put your phone down, stop looking around the room, look up from your computer. Whatever it is that is distracting you, stop that. Stop that thing. Look at the person or persons you're speaking to. Making eye contact is great. Not the creepy kind that you get across the room that is scary, but you know what I'm talking about, where you just make eye contact, where you have a genuine connection. Simply show the person or persons you're in communication with that you're serious and you're actively listening to what they have to say. If you're someone who is sitting there thinking, what is active listening? All it is giving full attention to the speaker or the person you're communicating with, listening to understand, not simply to respond. I'm guilty of that. And provide verbal and nonverbal feedback. This alone will change everything about the interaction. You're able to pick up on nonverbal cues. You're able to figure out how much is happening that is resonating with the person. Are they leaning in? Are they folding their arms and leaning back? All of that will play into how good that communication is between the two of you. So being able to see it and be there in it and being very present is really important. Number 3, be clear and concise. Here's another one I really need to practice. I tend to chase rabbits, and my brain literally is kind of bombarded sometimes with ideas and thoughts, and I kind of go down all these different rabbit holes. So there are times that my husband has asked me, like, how did you get there from there, where we started? And I can tell him how my brain got there, but for most people, it's too much. They don't need that much. So be clear and concise. Not everyone wants to know about all those additional thoughts or ideas that are coming through your mind. Keep your communication with someone concise and clear and focused, and it helps that person who's receiving your communication follow you and get the intended message. When you add too much detail or you go down rabbit trails, it can confuse the message and it can actually dilute the message. It can make even the most astute listener confused, distracted, and not really want to participate in the communication. This is really important with relationships, especially. Thinking of when you're talking to your teenager and you go on too far and you talk too much about all the things that they need to do, or maybe with a spouse or with somebody at work. All of those relationships are impacted greatly by talking too much or giving too much information or giving irrelevant information. Be consistently thinking about how you can be more clear and more concise with your messaging. Number 4, tune into the nonverbal cues and tone of voice as much as what is being said. And really and truly, I think it's like 65% of our communication is nonverbal. I'd have to double check that. Maybe I should go do that. But make sure your body language matches what you're wanting to convey, and also keep track of the other person's body language too. Your posture and your eye contact are extremely important. Pay attention to your volume and your pitch. If I whisper, it really changes the message and it sounds really silly. But if I'm yelling, it really changes it too. Even the words "I love you" have a different meaning when they're the wrong volume and pitch. For fun, play around with the words "I love you" and see how that meaning changes with different annotation and different pitches and emphasis. It's kind of eye-opening if you play with it. I love you, I love you, I love you, or I love you. There are different ways that you can use your pitch, your intonation, and volume to change the communication you're having. And that makes a big difference on how you're interpreted and how you're received by someone on the other end. Number 5, be open to feedback. Now, the story I told you at the beginning literally still makes my heart skip a beat a little bit when I think about it. It's not easy getting or receiving feedback. But remember, without feedback, it's nearly impossible to improve. It's hard to see what we do right and wrong from our own eyes or from our own seat. It's great to get feedback from someone else, especially if it's constructive and heartfelt. So oftentimes we can't see in ourselves what others can see or hear. Practice not taking feedback personally, and look at it as a gift that you can use to become a better version of yourself. Number 6 is always consider who you're talking to or speaking with when you're communicating. This changes your message, and it will often dictate how you use the other steps I talked about. When needed, or if you're able to, practice how you're going to present a message or how you're going to speak to someone. When you're chatting with your friends, you can use all the slang you want. You can be silly, you can go off topic, you can change your voice and do what you need to do. But when you're speaking to a room of professionals, slang is definitely not encouraged and it's definitely not appropriate. Take time to practice and fine-tune the message you intend to deliver. It makes a difference, and it makes you be received better, and it helps you become more respected. Now, if you are someone who is talking to your teenager, maybe you don't have to be so professional, right? Maybe you change your tone or you change your tune and change how you're communicating. You're not talking to your teenager like you're in a professional meeting that feels stiff and not a connection type conversation or communication. It needs to be tailored to the situation. So I am having so much fun right now and working on becoming a better communicator, at connecting with other people better, and doing that through the communication, the style I'm using, the way I'm communicating. And I hope you're going to join me with that because it is super fun. It makes a really big difference on how people receive you, how much you are connecting with other people, and how well your messaging is getting across. So let me know how it's going for you. Leave me a note on Instagram or send me an email because I love hearing what your challenges are, and that way I can speak to them. But I hope you are completely okay with me being so vulnerable to share things that happen to me that are a little unnerving when someone tells me, oh, you're not doing it right, or it's a little different than what it should be. It feels very scary to share that kind of stuff, but I think it might help you too. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It has been a blast. I would love for you to do me a huge favor and either go leave a rating or a review. And if you really love the podcast or you've learned anything at all, please pass it on to a friend or a family member that might enjoy the podcast as well. That's how I grow, and that's how I'm able to continue bringing you content. If you are interested in coaching, just go to thecrazyconfidencecoach.com. You can sign up for a free discovery call there. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you next Tuesday so we can build our crazy confidence together. Love you big.